Hey everybody, so welcome to the first episode of many episodes to come regarding the 27 constellation in the sky known as nakshatras in Vedic astrology. Now, what are these things? Well, I've already explained it twice, and if you want to refer back to that video because you're new here, check out this link below, and either you can watch this now and then come back later and watch this, but it's very interesting and important. Why? Because let's say you and your friend are discussing astrology one day, and both of you are Aries or zodiac sign. I'm just picking it. And you guys discuss about, if astrology is bullshit or not. And discussing, you find out that your friend and you are totally different. You're thinking this way, your friend is thinking this way, and wow, astrology is totally garbage. Good thing we discuss this today. Well, I'm here to break your party there and tell you that even if you are the same zodiac sign, you're still different. And so in Vedic astrology, your moon is considered more important than the sun, because moon is your mind. The way you interact with people is through your mind, not through your soul. Your soul is the sun. Okay, so this is why it's very important that we use moon. And every planet goes through these constellations, and we'll do that later on. But moon is so important because moon is the way you think. That's how you and your friend are not the same, even though you're the same zodiac sign. So today we're going to do the very first constellation in the sky, known as Ashwani. Okay, but to do this, I'm going to make it fun for you. I'm going to show you this in a diagram format. So let's bring out this diagram up. Come on up. So as you see here in this diagram, this is the Aries zodiac sign. And let's pretend this is the Aries zodiac sign, okay? Now this whole entire sign is 30 degrees long. And in your layman's term, you can say it's 30 feet long. Okay, forget degrees. It's just, sometimes it gets too complicated. So let's say this sign here is 30 degrees long, and that's Aries. Well, in astrology, in Vedic astrology, the same sign gets divided into two and a half sections. Okay, so this is Aries in a 30-degree sign, and is divided now in three different sections, known as 2.5 signs. And this is what happens when a certain planet goes through it. Okay, so these 2.5 signs that you see, they're different name for them. And today the one that we're going to do is known as Ashwani. And this sign occurs in 0 to 13.20 degrees of Aries. Meaning if it's 30 feet long, 13.20 feet of that 30 feet section is known as Ashwani. And what happens is let's bring our moon. Moon, come on out, buddy. So when moon goes through this zodiac sign of Aries, it's going through these different sections of the Aries sign. And the one that I'm going to discuss today is Ashwani. So what happens when moon comes into the first 13.20 degrees of Aries? And could be, you can use this for any planet. It could be Sun, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Charon, whatever you guys believe in. Okay, this is what's happening. So you, person watching this, your moon might be right there in Ashwani, and your friends could be in the other section. I'm not going to tell you that right now. In next episode you'll find out the second section, but today we're going to discuss when moon comes into this first section of the zodiac. So what happens when your moon, your mind, comes in the first 13.20 degrees of Aries? Well, first of all, this constellation is known as Ashwani. Just told you that. Okay, its symbol is a horse. It represents the horse. And what this sign represents in mythology, these are the physician to the gods. These are the healers to the gods. These are the shamans to the gods. Okay, and remember, the dynamics will always be relating to the zodiac sign and the constellation. So Aries is a sign that is ruled by Mars. It's active. It's always, wants to go out there, take action. It's about moving forward. And so this particular sign that you see of Ashwani, it's actually ruled by the south node Ketu. Okay, that's the south node of the moon. Now, why did they assign this diagram or this nakshatra to Ketu? Well, before life began, there was something called zeroness. There was nothing in this universe. And Ketu represents that nothingness, that beginning of life, that beginning of dark, right when the Big Bang happened. Before that, maybe a nanosecond before that, it was nothingness. So that was Ketu. And Ketu gives birth to the universe. And so this is why it's assigned to Ketu. So let's discuss what happens when moon comes into this constellation and how your personality is defined. So the constellation, the nakshatra of Ashwani, represents people who are the go-getters. They're very active in life, and the Ashwani represents hands. Why? Because a physician, a doctor, uses his hands to look at the people, to look at the patients, to perform surgery on it. Okay, so this constellation actually make good physician. It makes good healers. It makes people who are known as the medicine man, whether it's alternative medication or regular medication. That's what it's known as. Now, this constellation represents fast travel. So these people, because it's Aries. Remember, we're in the energy of Aries. So these guys are always about being active in life. They're always out to do something. And they're very determined. They're very determined into achieving their goals. And they usually do. They always achieve their goals. And so they like to, exhaust their energy. They love exhausting their energy out there. They're all, like your friend or somebody you run into who's either one day going to yoga class, one day going to cycling, one day going to kickboxing, then they're going freaking biking and hiking on the weekend, while you're in Aries and you're sitting home eating chips and burger and watching your football game. And so that's how the difference happens. So the person who's doing all these activities are in this nakshatra, are in this constellation. Okay, so if you want to be a physician, and usually I've seen this like with, in my own case study, I came upon 17 physicians. And in those 17 physicians, about 12 of them either had their Mars, Moon, or Sun in the constellation of Ashwani. And it kind of made sense. And so you see, that's how I kind of learned. These were the first lessons that I learned, like, wow, this is what true astrology is. But, let me show you another secret to this constellation. So let's bring our diagram up. So as you saw, this is Aries constellation, Aries zodiac with Ashwani constellation there, okay? Because the entire Aries zodiac sign is divided into 2.5 sections. But guess what? This Ashwani section is now also divided into 4 different parts. So see how detailed we go into? So even if you and your friend are same constellation, you still will not feel the same or think the same. Why? Because that 4th section also divides that particular constellation, and that division is known as Pada, P-A-D-A, Pada. So there's Pada 1, Pada 2, Pada 3, Pada 4. So if you ever go to a Vedic astrologer and he says, oh, well, you got your moon in Ashwani Nakshatra in 3rd Pada. That's what it means. So zodiac sign, a single constellation divided into 4 parts. So what these 4 padas are, these are 4 levels to that one constellation. And this is kind of goes like this. Pada 1 is known as the full activation of that nakshatra. Pada 2 is it's a little less better than the Pada 1. And Pada 3 is a little less better than Pada 2. And Pada 4 is the least best of the rest of the 4. Now, does that mean that if you are on Pada 4 on the Ashwani Nakshatra, that means your whole life is ruined? No. The good and bad does not mean that it's a bad Pada to be in. No. It's just that the energy of that constellation starts to lose itself and start to slowly manifest itself into the other constellation that is right next to it. So from 13.21 degrees to, I believe, 23 degrees is a different constellation that we'll discuss later on in the next episode of Nakshatras. Okay, but this is what the four padhas do. So if you are in fourth padha on your zodiac and your moon nakshatra, that simply means that you have the energy of a little bit of this nakshatra that you're ending and the nakshatra that you're about to begin. And this is why we as human beings are so different. This is why two twins are so different. Because even if they're born, let's say 6 seconds apart, 5 seconds apart, these pada and nakshatra, bam, change. The coordinates of the planets change. So this is what nakshatra is, ladies and gentlemen. This is why it's so important to really know who you are, because see how the nakshatra actually determines the kind of career you might have. A lot of race car drivers, okay, have this nakshatra, because this nakshatra is about going fast and they love traveling. So when these guys travel, they travel fast. So if somebody who's into car racing, either their mind or their ascendant is going to be in the nakshatra of Ashwani. Okay, and this is what I found in my own studies, and we'll probably do, I'll do a bunch of horoscopes of race car drivers or athletes who have specifically this nakshatra. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis on the very first nakshatra of our nakshatra series. I'm gonna see you either this week or next week with another episode because I have to do all the other things. So tomorrow I might do something else. So if you're new to my channel, hit subscribe above, because you just learned something so important about astrology that it's okay. You can buy me dinner when you see me. And if you want to know more about astrology and exactly know who you are, check out my link below. Check out my book, Astrology at the Speed of Light. All right. Bye-bye. See you.